All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to build your own personal data detective toolkit. We're talking about cracking the code on three really fundamental concepts: mean, median, and mode, that'll help you find the real story hidden inside any set of numbers.
So, you hear the word average all the time, right? The average salary, the average temperature, you name it. But here's the thing. When someone in statistics says average, they could actually be talking about one of three different things. It's way more complex, and honestly, way more powerful than you might think. Yep, that's right. In the world of stats, there isn't just one single way to find the center or the typical value in a bunch of numbers. We've got three main tools, three different measures of central tendency, and believe me, each one tells you a slightly different story about the data. Okay, let's get right into it and start decoding what the average is all about. And to see why we even need these different tools, we're going to need a case to solve, some data we can dig into together.
So here's our case file. Imagine we have a choir with 15 members, and their ages are kind of all over the map. I mean, if you just stare at this jumble of numbers, it's pretty hard to get a clear picture of anything, right? But with the right tools from our toolkit, we can cut right through all that noise and find the patterns hiding inside.
All right, so let's open up that toolkit. Our very first tool is probably the one that most people think of when they hear the word average.
And this is the mean. It's that classic average you almost definitely learned back in school. The whole idea is to find a kind of balance point for all the data, like you're sharing the total value equally among every single data point.
Okay, so how do you do it? The calculation is actually pretty straightforward. For our choir, we just add up all 15 ages. That gives us a total sum of 172. Then we divide that by the number of kids, which is 15. And what's the result? A mean age of 11.5 years.
And hey, here's a great little memory hack to keep this one straight. Just remember that the mean is the meanest of the three. Why? Because it makes you do the most work. You've got to do both addition and division to get your answer.
Okay, let's grab our next tool, the median. Now, this one isn't about calculating some kind of balance point. It's all about finding the physical center of your data. Think of it like real estate. It's all about location, location, location.
So, the first step, and this is absolutely crucial, is you have to sort the data first. Once we line up all 15 ages, from the youngest to the oldest, we just find the number that's sitting dead center. In our choir's case, with 7 ages on one side and 7 on the other, the median is 12.
But wait a minute. What happens if you don't have just one single middle number? Like, what if you have an even number of data points? It's actually really simple. You just take the two middle numbers, add them up, and divide by 2 to find that median. Here's another super simple memory trick for your toolkit. The word median has a D in it, right? Just like the word middle. It's just a quick, easy way to remember that the median is always your middle value. And that brings us to our final tool for today, the mode. You can think of the mode as your popularity detector. It's designed to find the single most common or frequent value in your whole data set. The great thing about the mode is there's no complex math. It's really just counting. So if we look at our choir's ages, the number 12 pops up 5 times, way more than any other age. So that makes our mode 12. Oh, and it's worth pointing out that a dataset can totally have more than one mode if there's a tie, or sometimes no mode at all if every value only appears once. And for our last memory hack of the day, mode starts with MO, just like the word most. It's the value you see most often. See? Simple as that. Okay, so now you've got your 3 core data detective tools. But, since calculating these often involves a little bit of arithmetic, every good detective needs a few mental math shortcuts up their sleeve. So let's add some to your cheat sheet to help you work a whole lot faster.
All right, let's start with subtraction. Instead of doing all that old-school borrowing and carrying, you can flip the problem around and add up to find the difference. Let's say we have 83 minus 38. Instead of subtracting, think about the distance between the two numbers. We'll just count the jumps to get from 38 all the way to 83. So a small jump of 2 gets us to 40. Then a big jump of 40 gets us to 80. And a final little hop of 3 gets us to 83. Now, just add up those jumps. 2 plus 40 plus 3, and you get the answer, 45. This next one, well, it honestly feels like a magic trick for multiplying by 11. Take any 2-digit number, let's say 26. All you do is separate the 2 digits, so you have a 2, a space, and a 6. Then you add those digits together. 2 plus 6 is 8.
and you just pop that sum right in the space you made. And boom, there it is, 286. It's an incredibly fast shortcut, for real.
And finally, let's talk about some quick checks for division. Look, before you even try to do long division, these divisibility rules can tell you right away if a number will divide evenly. For example, is 172 divisible by 3? Well, just add its digits. 1 plus 7 plus 2 equals 10. And since 10 isn't divisible by 3, 172 isn't either. Rules like these for numbers like 2, 3, 5, and 10 are super quick checks that can save you a ton of time. Okay, so with those quick calculation tips in your back pocket, let's bring it back to our main toolkit. We've defined our 3 key tools, but the real skill, the real detective work, is knowing which one to use and when. So what's the big takeaway here?
Just remember, each of these tools gives you a totally unique perspective. The mean, it gives you that balanced average, but it can get totally thrown off by a few really high or really low numbers. The median gives you the true middle, and it doesn't care about those extreme outliers. And the mode, well, that just shows you what's most popular. So the tool you choose really depends on the story you're trying to tell with the data.
Look, the world is literally overflowing with data. It's everywhere, in the news, in sports, at your job. And now you don't just have to sit there and passively consume it. You have a toolkit to actually open it up, to investigate it, and to find those hidden patterns for yourself. So the only real question left is, what patterns will you see?